Ladies and gentlemen, wrestling fans tuning in worldwide, Andre Corbeil here, your official 1WRESTLING.com Impact Wrestling reporter at the home of the legend, the icon, the one and only Bill Apter. And why am I dressed up like this? Oops, my tie's crooked. Straighten that sucker up. There we go. Why am I rocking the pink shirt? Because I'm blessed, I'm honored to have been invited to the Stu Hart 100th birthday celebration here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada by the Hart'S. I don't know if I'm going to be sitting at their table or not. I'll know once I get to the function, but I'm very excited and again, as I stated, honored to be a part of this celebration. Now, Stu Hart is an icon within the wrestling industry, a staple, the promoter of Stampede Wrestling, the Northwest Territory, back in the territorial days. Check it out. There's lots of stuff pertaining relating to Stampede Wrestling still right here on YouTube, and you'd be doing yourself a disservice if you did not check the footage out and some of the greats that went through that old time territory that had such a legacy. I'm going to digress on that. I got to get ready to go right now, so I'm going to bring my other camera with me, hopefully get some footage, maybe some comments and some memories of Stu from some members of the Hart family. Like I said, I'm not there yet. I'll see the setup once I arrive tonight in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. So happy birthday, Stu Hart, Stampede Wrestling promoter, father of the Hart, the legendary dynasty. And it's no joke. If you're a wrestling fan and you haven't been living under a rock, you know that the Hart family is a big deal in the world of professional wrestling. My name's Andre Corbeil. We're all in this for one thing, wrestling. And take it easy, everybody. Andre Corbeil, 1WRESTLING.com reporter, right here at the home of the legendary icon Bill Apter, here with Keith Hart. Y'all remember from the legendary Hart dynasty, here for Stu Hart's 100th birthday celebration. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure to have you. I just want to have a toast to my dad, who would have been 100 years old today. And also, next week would be Owen's 50th birthday, so let's not forget about him.
Next week.
Two of the great guys in wrestling.
And what's the exact date of his birthday?
Stu's May 3rd, and Owen's is May 7th.
May 7th, Owen Hart's birthday coming up, so let's do a
Two of the great ones, eh?
Hey.
Good Canadian Prairie Boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 1WRESTLING.com. My name's Andre Corbeil, your official Impact Wrestling reporter at the home of the legendary icon Bill Apter, here with Ross Hart. How you doing, Ross?
Pleasure to be here, Andre.
The 7th of 8th, right?
That's right.
Now explain to the fans what the 7th of 8th actually means.
Well, in our family there were 12 kids, and there were 8 boys, and I was the 7th out of 8 sons. And I was the 10th out of 12 kids.
All right, nice and simple.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been interviewing your brothers and sisters all night long. Again, thank you for having me at this celebration in honor of your father's centennial, his 100th birthday.
Sure.
He's a legend and an icon, and we all know it. And I'm sure a lot of people miss the legacy that your father left behind. And I've been asking each and every one of your brothers and sisters to share a memorable story, something that's totally Stu Hart.
Yeah. Well, the humorous little anecdote I had is we had a school bus that was transporting the wrestling rings to shows, and it had broken down and was abandoned near Camrose, Alberta, and we had to get it back to Calgary, so we had run our show in, I think, in Duke that night.
Okay.
Anyway, so my dad said we have to tow it back, and we just had a tow rope and his Brome d'Elegance car. So I got in the bus, and he drove his Brome, and he towed me all the way down Highway 2A back to Calgary.
Just one of those big ass ropes.
Just one rope, yeah. And we didn't have a tow bar or anything, and we drove it all the way back. Took us about 5 hours. I think he was getting a little tired and falling asleep at the wheel once or twice, because I saw him kind of fishtailing a little bit, and it was heavy snow too. This was like.
And this was back in the days of the 2A, not the number 2 highway.
Well, this was we took 2A, so we would get pulled over by the police.
A small, not very wide road.
Yeah, it's a 2-lane highway, and it was about 5 o'clock, and and snowing heavily. And anyway, and that was just my dad. You know, he was fearless, and you know, whatever it took to get a vehicle back to the city or get the wrestling show on the road, and that's what we would do. And he towed me all the way back to Calgary. I'm driving the school bus, and he's driving the Grown Be Elegance. You know, I think the bumper was half torn off by the time we got back to Calgary, but did get it back though.
A total get-her-done mentality
absolutely.
all around by Stu Hart.
Yeah.
Now, let the fans know something about yourself.
Well, I was very lucky to be involved in my dad's promotion. I did everything from selling programs to selling tickets to doing all the press releases for the out-of-town shows, and then I produced the Stampede Wrestling television show. Tried my hand a little bit at wrestling. Did some ring announcing, TV announcing. I did just about everything. It was a great experience for me because I went into school teaching, and that's where I learned communication and teaching skills, and dealing with a lot of irate and temperamental wrestlers. I knew how to deal with challenging students.
I'm currently doing ring announcing for RCW Wrestling.
Yes, and you do a great job.
Oh, really? Thank you. That means a lot. I'm still finding my groove.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take you to find your groove when you were announcing?
I don't know if I ever totally found it, but you know, I got more and more comfortable a year or two after I started. And if the crowd was responsive, that was great. Yeah, and they'd let you know if you weren't doing it.
Yeah, I've gotten the "you suck" chants already.
Yeah, and the crowds are even more cynical now than they used to be. So
yeah, very vocal.
They kind of have that sarcastic mentality. So let's give it to the ring announcers. So you're probably a little less fortunate than I was. You know.
Boo!
Yeah. Anyways, my pleasure.
I want to thank you, Ross.
Okay, Andre.
Again, it's been an honor being a part of the celebration with your family, and thank you guys for welcoming me in.
Sure.
And yeah, I just really appreciate it.
It was a really nice celebration.
Point at the camera. Happy birthday, Stu.
Happy birthday, Stu.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Dad.
Hello, wrestling fans. Andre Corbeil with 1WRESTLING.com, the home of Bill Apter, here at the 100th centennial birthday of none other than Stu Hart. Basically an icon, a legend in this wrestling business, and I have one of his beautiful, lovely daughters here, Georgia, with me. How you doing, Georgia?
Oh, just great.
Welcome to 1WRESTLING.com.
Oh, thanks.
I'm honored to be included at this party.
Oh, I'm touched.
I feel touched.
Oh.
Now, I wanted you to basically share with the wrestling fans a fond memory of your father, something that's totally Stu Hart.
Well, you know, he was a fantastic cook, and we had our big Sunday dinners, and we'd have all the family.
Every Sunday, right?
Every Sunday for years, like 25 years at least. And he had a big Chippendale table, and he'd have all the kids set up, and the spouses, husbands, wives, and big Sunday dinners every Sunday. And he had a big commercial kitchen where he'd make all the food, and that meant a lot to him to always have all the kids there. And,
so did him and Helen share the load when it came to work that cooking
my
in the
mom
kitchen?
helped designate. He did most of the work. He actually was a great cook, and he loved his kitchen. It was all commercial ingredients, or commercial equipment. And,
so it was more like, get out of my way and let me create.
He had he'd sharpen his knives. He had a big special stone to sharpen the knives, and electric meat slicer, and a special oven to cook prime rib in. And, so that meant a lot to him. And then his animals meant a lot to him too. He always had lots of dogs and cats, and never locked the door at the house. You know, there was an open door policy. And many a time there was somebody who was a little down and out that would be sleeping over and just needed a place to stay for a few weeks.
So always willing to lend a helping hand.
Yeah.
And did you find that these weekly Sunday night meals just really brought the family together even more, creating a bond?
Yeah, and it was nice to see the grandchildren, because there's 36 grandchildren. You know, as they started to grow up, they would come and they would bring their friends, and it's a great time. It was kind of Freedom City, you know. Not too many rules.
Do you miss the big house?
Oh yeah, I do. I drive by it all the time.
I was going to ask you if you go to visit once in a while.
Yeah, I absolutely love the house. And if I ever won a lottery ticket, I would try to buy the house back just to keep it in the family.
Is it a museum now, or is it?
It's privately owned now by an Italian fella.
And I'm sure he gives the family free visitation.
Yeah. When he's in town,
Thank
he's
God.
in Italy a lot. And the house will remain standing too, which meant a lot to the family.
And the city, it's a historic landmark in the city of Calgary, and it's protected by the city of Calgary, and it should be.
Yeah, as my mom used to say, it was an hysterical site.
Always a zoo?
Yeah, instead of hysterical. But
wow. What was the fullest that house was that you could ever remember as a girl?
We had a lot of the weddings up there. Like Davey and Diana's wedding was up there. Bret eloped, so his wasn't.
But Bret eloped. You heard that here first.
Bruce and Andrea, Keith and Leslie, Diana, Davey, Alison, and Ben. I also eloped, so I didn't have a wedding at the house. But
oh, really? And how did your parents feel about that?
Not too thrilled at first, but I'm still happily married. So.
Awesome. So you made the right choice. Yeah. You gotta love it. Is there anything else you want to say?
Just thanks to all the wonderful fans. My dad always said to always thank the fans.
Well, it all comes from the fans.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the industry would be nothing, right?
Yeah, it's always nice to hear when you talk to somebody. They'll mention their father or their grandfather or some relative watched Stampede Wrestling and that they loved it.
I think I was 8. I was 8 when I first tuned in, and maybe I ran against the grain because Champagne Jerry Moore was my favorite star.
Oh, is that right?
And
I like Jerry too.
And as a character, he was mean, but as a person, just a glowing heart. So just God bless. Yeah,
there are a lot of great wrestlers too, and they loved wrestling in my dad's territory because, he always looked after them and would help them with passports and finding schools for their kids.
And it was a highly successful territory for decades.
Yeah, for
3-4 decades?
Or maybe even more than that.
Wow.
Maybe close to 50 years. And I don't know, my dad, I think just one little Saskatchewan farm boy took nothing and turned it into a worldwide thing.
Still talked about today. Talked about today. And one of the longest traveling territories on the road. I heard many stories of how long the wrestlers and the talents, the trucks with the ring and everything were on the road. Icy roads.
They call it the loop. Because Monday was one town, Tuesday would be another town, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday was always Calgary.
Yeah, I first attended a show at the Edmonton Convention Center.
Oh.
Yeah, and just a great time. It's disappointing that all of the territories folded up.
Yeah, it's kind of a different scene, but I guess that's the way it is for a lot of the pro sports now.
Yeah.
Football and basketball, all those have changed a little too.
Yeah. So
this is a time and place.
Absolutely, and my brain is just going like this right now. Again, I'm really honored to be a part of this celebration honoring your father.
Thanks so much.
We're at Spiro's Restaurant in Calgary. There's a cheap little plug for the restaurant. Really good food.
Yeah.
And was this one of your father's favorite restaurants to come to?
Yeah, and the owner went to school with my brother Ross and Angela, and she was a valedictorian of her class. So
wow, small world,
her mom, and I think there's 5 sisters here. 5 sisters? All beautiful girls, and then John, the father, knew us all back many years ago too.
And obviously this is a part of tradition. That's why we're all here tonight. And the tradition lives on in memory of Stu Hart, the father, the dad, creating a legacy, and it's a lasting legacy. Ladies and gentlemen, One Wrestling fans tuning in worldwide, Andre Corbeil coming at you at the home of the legendary icon Bill Apter with the best there is, the best there was, the best there will be. Bret the Hitman Hart, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
I'm very honored to be a part of this celebration for your dad's 100th birthday, the centennial of Stu Hart. I'm honored to be here. I've been speaking with family members of yours, asking them to share special moments of your father, the one-of-a-kind Stu Hart. Whether it's funny or if you want to share something heartfelt, it's all up to you, Bret.
Well, I think it's a very interesting night. A lot of family members, got a lot of family memories from going back from a lot of different generations. It'd be interesting to be a fly on the wall and to hear all the different conversations about different things. it'd be impossible for me in 3 minutes to sum up my dad with a story, you know, that would be fitting. But probably my best memorable story about my dad would be the one with my brother Owen, that joke that my brother Owen pulled on about.
From the hotel room calling?
Hotel room, yeah. It was just so priceless being there to witness, to watch the Owen pull off such a great prank on my dad.
And he strung him along for like 5 minutes, right?
And to push my dad's buttons so much, you know. I mean, he really pushed my dad over the edge on the phone. I remember Owen told me they couldn't go any harder on my dad. And my dad got so mad that he lost it. And to me, that was the best. Owen told me it was the funniest memory that he had.
And it was a long friendship of the, I can't remember whom it was who was
Wrench Park.
Who was
one of the nicest guys in the world. And had him talking shit to my dad on the phone. My dad thought it was Reg. Because I remember when I answered the phone, I said, "It's Reg Park," and I handed my dad the phone. And it was Owen, of course.
Did you know it was Owen?
No, I didn't know it was Owen. I thought it was Reg Park. And, but I realized that after when Owen told me, that was me, you know. But he got my dad, well actually my dad was the one that told me after he hung up the phone that it was Owen. Because Owen said so much shit to my dad that pushed the buttons so far that Owen actually started to lose it on the other end of the phone.
You're trying to keep his composure, right?
But I just remember my dad on the other, I was in the room with my dad on the phone and he kept going, "Reg, if you wanted to try me, why didn't you try me?" I guess Owen was doing the voice of challenging my dad, telling him to come down the lobby if he had any balls that he'd come down and fight him in the lobby right now.
Jeez.
And just to know the real Reg Park, you know, would never talk like that or act like that. But it just, you know, wrestlers don't see each other all the time. They change personalities and they get weird. And my dad thought maybe Reg, it was the real Reg. And it was a very funny night.
So he was clinching the phone, wasn't he?
Oh, he was so mad he was ready to kill somebody. My dad, he slammed the phone down and he sat on the bed. And I remember he was so mad, he slammed the phone down and he sat on the bed for about 20 seconds. He didn't say a word. I was just looking at him. And finally he got cracked a big smile like this. It was Owen.
It was Owen.
He got me. He got me good. and my dad even had a good laugh because he got my dad so good.
And it's May 3rd, wrestling fans. That's Stu's birthday, and we're also nearing Owen's birthday.
Owen's 50th.
50th. And what's the exact? Is it the 10th or 11th?
Oh, his birthday. Owen's the 7th.
The 7th. A few days off. Is the family gonna?
I'm sure this tonight was a bit of a sort of a
double
whammy. But you know, this is again more of a night for my dad. I think Owen will be next week.
Yeah.
In my family, there's so many birthdays in May that everybody connects with different birthdays. Like, to say one's not more important than the other. Like my dad's just as important as Owen, as George's son Matthew, and there's quite a few different birthdays that we all remember in May.
And when's your birthday, Bret?
I'm in July.
Just so I know when to send you
July
on Twitter.
2nd, the perfect. It's the exact middle day of the whole year when you cut the calendar in half.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's the greatest day in the world to be born.
Right in the middle. Right in the middle. So at least I know when to send you a tweet and wish you a happy birthday now.
Mr. Perfect right here.
Mr. Perfect? I don't see the blonde curly hair.
The perfect day to be born.
And a perfect opponent for you. I remember those matches.
He was good. He was the best. He was the greatest.
You really think so? Yeah?
One of the best for sure.
Yeah, you guys definitely had chemistry. Top 5?
If I had to pick one guy to work with again, it would be Mr. Perfect.
Yeah. You know who rounds in at my top 5 spot? Keiji Moto, the Great Muda. I was a real big fan of Keiji Moto.
Show me how much good knowledge I have on wrestling.
I don't got any green mist, Bret. Don't go. Ladies and gentlemen, 1WRESTLING.com reporter Andre Corbeil here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada for a very, very special event honoring the legendary Stu Hart and his 100th birthday. Wow, a century. And his very first son is with me right now, and they don't want me to introduce you. Why don't you introduce yourself to the fans watching?
I'm Smith Stuart Hart, oldest of the 12 Hart kids, and it's an honor to be celebrating my dad's 100th birthday here at the Spiro's Pizza in Calgary. A great place. My dad loved it, and a lot of his friends became fans of Spiro's after the wrestling matches on Friday years ago.
At the Corral.
Pavilion, Saddledome, you name it. We were there in the Stampede, the grandstand. We ran in every building there, even the big floor building occasionally, tents, whatever it took. But those are the good old days, the old school days. Maybe we'll see some of those again. I was actually hoping, we had talked, some of us, about doing a wrestling event on my dad's 100th anniversary, but we didn't have the sort of the oomph behind it to do it right. So this is what we had, just a family get together. That's very, we've got a lot of fans out there that, I don't know, there's more fans than there's family out there. There's 33 grandchildren, so that's a lot of people.
33 grandchildren, wow, right?
Yeah.
Quite the legacy.
Yeah, some of them, like Natalia, is working tonight in Florida, and, her family lived there, and my sister Ellie's there, and some of the PJ's kids are there, but most of us that are here showed up tonight. It was a false alarm yesterday. I thought it was yesterday, but there was another event with some of the old school guys like Jerry Morrow and
Champagne Jerry Morrow.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's all great. Nice to see the fans. Nice to see the wrestlers. Big Titan was here.
Oh yeah.
That's the younger, more macho Razor Ramon.
Oh, machismo, right?
Yeah. Machismo.
Now we had to leave the party to come in here because there's so much noise out there, and this is our second take at it. Now, Smith, I'm really honored to be a part of this celebration in honor of your father. I'm also honored to be invited. It's a very special event here in Calgary, marking 100 years of a pioneer within the sport who ran the Northwest Territory back in the territorial days and really like to stretch them out.
Well,
that's a pretty bad.
Earn respect, like if they don't respect wrestling as a sport, they're not going to respect pro business. There's a lot just to be said about submission wrestling. It's an art. It's a science, really.
And it didn't matter what size of the person your dad would cinch in, and it was all about them breaking the hold if
nobody
they
broke
could.
The holds. You can't break those holds. There's no. He has all the mechanical advantage to his, his advantage. And it doesn't matter if you're a gay priest or a big burly cop or a truck driver, football player, karate man, military guy, cowboys. They all got the same kind of treat in the end. Where they saw the light flashing before their eyes. They couldn't budge from the hold, and it might be a hold that was dislocating their shoulders. Or it might just be a mug across the throat, and you let a little air in once in a while, spread the fingers just so that they keep you going a bit and keep that respect turning in your mind. But when you were let go, nothing, no broken bones, you usually weren't bleeding. Maybe a little blood vessel or two in your eyes popped, but you might have some in your brain and in your temple that popped and you look like Gorbachev. But basically, outside of that, nobody had broken bones or concussions or anything. It was all very friendly, like a big boa constrictor, whereas these two boxers tonight, Mayweather and Pacquiao,
wow, it's a big event.
Little serpents trying to kill each other with every punch and every strike. It's that's the name of the game. Man. That's pretty barbaric.
And it didn't matter what size they were. I remember superstar Billy Graham talking about your dad.
Paul Anderson, strongest man in the world. Doug Hepburn, strongest man in the world. They were helpless in these holds.
Yeah.
It didn't matter how tall, how big.
All right, obviously, Smith is a busy man, so we're going to end this One Wrestling interview and go back to enjoying the party in honor of your father, Stu Hart.
Nice to make your acquaintance again.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Andre Corbeil, 1WRESTLING.com reporter, right here with Alison Hart. How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Not bad. I'm honored to be here. I've been talking with all of your family members and getting them to share Stu Hart moments, whether it be a funny moment, a heartfelt moment, whatever you want to share with the fans, to acknowledge your father on this centennial, 100th birthday of Stu Hart. Pretty awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, my dad was great. I guess you asked me about my nickname, which is Al. My father, well, everybody did it, though. The girls' names, they always shortened. Should I be looking?
Wherever you want them.
The girls' names, there's Georgia, Ellie, Georgia, Diana, and Alison, or Alison, Diana. But they just named us L, George, Al, and Di. And that was just one-syllable names for the boys, too. The boys all have one-syllable names.
Just to make it easier.
My mom liked one-syllable names. She said it went well with Hart, which was one syllable. So that's what.
She might be onto something there.
I think at least 12 times.
I was thinking initially, calling you Al, I figured that maybe someone was a Paul Simon fan. You remember the song from
Call
Paul?
Me Al.
You can call me Al. I
Yeah.
think I remember.
My mother used to call me Al Baby. I remember.
Al Baby.
Yeah, when she wanted something to clean the chandeliers, which was my job. But I guess that's one of my memories, is sitting with my father. I would be on a ladder cleaning chandeliers when I was about 12.
In the mansion, obviously.
Yeah, and there was probably 20 chandeliers. In the end, there was 20, but I just would get on the ladder and I would clean them, and then he would sit below and we'd talk, and then he'd explain, and we just talk. And it was just private time with him and me, and we just talked.
So that was an important time for you, where
Oh, yeah.
you
It was
felt like
lovely.
the center of attention, right?
Yeah, it was nice. Another thing with my dad that he would do, and I think he did this with all of his kids, he would drive by the House of Light and he'd point out chandeliers. And I remember once he told me there was a chandelier, and he said, "You can have that one if you don't tell your mother." And then I found out later he told Owen the same thing, and I was like, "Oh." But we were big when we found that out, so that was fine. But my fondest memory of my father was when I was giving birth to my youngest daughter, Brooke. It was about 2 a.m. in the morning, and by that time I was probably soon to be divorced. So I'm soon to be a single parent. And my father was living at his house, and he had to drive me to the hospital. And so we were driving to the hospital, and my father wasn't the best driver, I have to say.
Oh, he wasn't now?
No. He cut cars off. And we were driving, and he cut a car off, and the car honked at him. And my father, it's 4 a.m. and it's dark, or 2 a.m., and he thought the person recognized him. So he very politely waved and cut him off again. And then the guy drove by and he gave my dad the
finger, the bird?
Yeah. My dad was so hurt. He goes, I didn't know what his problem was. And I was just like, oh.
You cut him off, Dad.
And I'm a little bit irritated because I'm having contractions. And we drove to the Holy Cross Hospital, and I'm a little bit miffed at him because he drove he didn't drive fast at all. He drove the speed limit the whole way.
Oh, geez.
And I'm so dramatic because I'm going to give birth. And I go in, and the security guards that they used to have at the Holy Cross recognized my father. And they start talking about a wrestling match that Davey Boy had, and how Davey Boy had come in, and his head was all covered in blood. And I'm like standing there waiting, and all of a sudden my water breaks, and I think, well, we'll move now. I don't mind a minute of this, but we'll move ahead now. And
I'm in labor here.
And I'm thinking that this is... My dad just kept talking, giving this gentleman his time, and I was like, fine, I'll just go in and check myself in. And I checked myself in, and I'm really quite upset at this point. My dad, I see him, I go up the elevator into the maternity room, and when we were driving down in the hospital, my dad was telling me that he's not a midwife, that his wife had 12 children, but he doesn't want to be a part of, any labor. And I was like, okay. And so I go up, and I'm in the maternity room, and I hear my dad outside in the hall, and he's explaining to the nurse that he's not a midwife. And I'm so mad. I'm like, oh, it's him. And then, why doesn't he, I was so mad at him because he seemed to ignore me and he didn't have time. And then when I came in, they let him in the room with me just to say goodbye. And in that moment, I'm talking to him, and he squeezed my foot. And he said everything would be all right. And in that moment, I looked at him, and I realized there's this big, sweet guy. It's 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and he's with his daughter. He's getting me to the hospital. He probably worked the whole day, and here he is with me, and he's telling me everything's going to be all right.
Even though he drove 20 kilometers an hour all the way to the hospital.
What a decent father,
Yeah.
He was, my husband wasn't there for me, but he always was. And that's what I remember about my dad.
Loyal.
And he's my hero. He always was my hero. And there's no one else like him.
And you know what? You're definitely not the only one of the Hart siblings that would make that exact statement that Stu was their hero.
He was the greatest. I've never met anyone that actually compares to him, and I've actually never met anyone that compared to my mother.
Diana's even made the same statement. I've seen it before on camera where she's made the same statement about Stu.
We were very lucky, and I think that's what anybody who knows us knows, that that's how we feel, and that's why we're all still together, always together.
Oh.
So that's all I got for it.
Pure emotion right here on 1WRESTLING.com. A beautiful, beautiful moment, a beautiful memory, as we all are here today at Spiro's to honor the memory of Stu Hart. Point at the camera and say happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday, Stu. Ladies and gentlemen, 1WRESTLING.com fans tuning in worldwide, you know me, Andre Corbeil, your official Impact Wrestling reporter at the home of the legendary icon, Bill Apter, and Triple Take. How are you, Diana?
I'm great. I'm really well.
Now, first of all, I want to give you a big hug for allowing me to be a part of this Stu Hart birthday celebration.
Yes.
I'm honored.
At Spiro's.
Yes,
Long
in
time
Calgary.
friends.
And this is one of your dad's favorite restaurants, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Hands down.
And the kids too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say that it's got a soft spot in everybody's heart. Yeah.
Heart. Hashtag heart.
Yeah, that's true. It's family. Going back to the original Spiro's owner, Johnny, Angie, now, Davey. He and I went here with our kids. Now my kids are big kids. It's like family reunion. Yeah, for sure.
And I've been asking your sisters and your brothers all evening to share a special Stu Hart story, maybe something that touches your heart, or even a funny one. If you wanna share 2 stories, Diana, I'd love it and I'd welcome it here.
Okay. Oh wow. I have so many. My dad was just so hip. Like, he was really cool. Some people ask, like, what would he have done with what would he have thought about this way wrestling is now? And I think he would have been so intrigued by all the social media and that he would have.
It would have been easier to promote, that's for sure, right?
He would have totally embraced it. He was so cool, but he always made the best out of
the least.
Like one example is, you know how gas for your car it evaporates. That's why you have to have the gas cap on the gas tank. That when you put your gas in there.
Was he one of the ones that put a plastic bag over the hole
No.
and then the cap over top?
No.
Okay.
No, he wasn't like that. He was. My dad was too cool to do anything like that. But somehow, this was in wintertime. I think can't remember. Anyway, he had he was putting the gas in, and I guess the gas cap was missing. Probably one of the kids took the gas cap off my dad's Cadillac and put it on their car.
Playing around in the yard?
Yeah, maybe they forgot to put it on their car when they were at the gas station, and then they took it from his car, and share alike, sort of. So anyway, my dad goes to get gas in his car, and he realizes he doesn't have a gas cap on there. So the girl in the gas station, I saw her watching, and she was kind of perplexed at what my dad was doing in the trunk of the car. So he's got all his fruit from Safeway, like big like so much fruit.
Yeah, you always had lots of fruit from what I heard, right?
Yeah, fruit and vegetables. And anyway, he gets a raw potato out of the back that he had just, probably had like 500 potatoes back there for the Sunday dinner the next day. This was a Saturday. And he bit around the potato until it fit, and he stuffed it in the gas. I mean, it's such a smart idea.
Innovation from Stu Hart.
Yeah, he was not a paper bag kind of guy. Yeah.
Now, in one of the prior interviews, we were talking about the Sunday dinners, and I was asking Georgia if she thought that it helped bond the family and bring the family closer. I come from a big French family, and we had big family meals all the time, and all I can say is that it brought the family together, and we were all helping out through the whole function. And just, can you bring myself and the fans into the world of what it would be like at a Sunday afternoon Hart family meal? I heard your dad was the cook.
Oh yeah, my dad and Georgia were the chefs, and it was every Sunday. It was at least 40 people, and my big job was to set the table and make the iced tea.
Okay, how many table settings did you have to set up?
Well, we had this huge, beautiful mahogany table. It was huge. It was like something in a boardroom. Mm-hmm. And then we had the Chippendale, and then these other captain's chairs. So it was to fit them all in, because I set the table, I knew the Chippendale captain's chair, Chippendale captain's chair. And then at the ends of the tables, you might get another captain's chair on each corner, so that was another 4. But you could get probably 20 people at that table.
Wow. Can you imagine the setup job involved in that?
And then little tables, tables
kids?
around. Yeah, and sometimes you'd end up sitting at one of the kids' tables, which I never minded. But some of the...
So you're saying you did?
Yeah, I did a few times. And yeah, sometimes it was good. You could sit there if you had stuff on your mind, but usually you were brought into some kind of conversation. Always lots of talking, and my mom sat at one end and my dad was at the other, and just, probably 2 or 3 of each. Big, like the biggest Pyrex bowls, or the biggest of mashed potatoes, and then another one at the other end, and then corn, or mixed vegetables, or barbecue chicken, or fried chicken, or royal pot roast, which was so good.
And speaking of that, what was your favorite meal that either your father or Helen cooked?
My mom made this really, really nice meatloaf, and it had eggs, like hard-boiled eggs in it, and tomatoes that were like cooked, stewed tomatoes or sliced tomatoes on top.
The diced ones, yeah.
Or like a big tomato, and then my mom would slice it. She would make that. I think that was sort of her thing. Maybe that's why I'm partial to it. It was also delicious. But
and do you remember what Stu's favorite dish was?
Oh gosh, well he used to make some pretty damn good chicken cacciatore, which he learned how to make, I think, from my mom's mom, who was Greek.
I was just going to say that shortly down the line, that you guys are half Greek, right?
Yeah.
And your dad made stuff like, why am I blanking out right now? Prime rib and stuff like that as well.
And he
right?
had a rotisserie that cooked about. It was a commercial rotisserie cooker, so you could put probably 50 chickens on it.
And he had a lot of commercial
Everything was commercial.
Right?
Everything. The grill that you made the bacon on was what you'd see at Burger King or something. So you could put like 40 slices of bacon on there, and I remember the tray where it was huge. It was like this, it was huge. It was this big thing, but where you pulled it out was sort of chest level, but the fat would all go down to the bottom in this big drawer.
And he'd make the gravy with that, right?
Well, actually, we'd feed that to the magpies.
Boy, was I ever way off on that one. How many girls grew up within the wrestling scene on the level that you did? From probably the furthest back you can remember, right?
Yeah.
And I bet you she could stretch me out, you know? I was thinking of getting a shirt made up in honor of your father saying 100 years of stretching you out.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's stretched out. That's very good. You're clever, Andre.
Thank you.
You really are. You're very clever.
Thank you. That just jumped in my mind. And I want to thank you for becoming a friend of mine, a genuine friend since I come out here.
You've been through a lot.
Thank you, and you've actually supported me through all of that I went through, and that's how I know you're a real, true friend. And I'm honored. It just, again, inviting me to tonight, it means a lot, and I just want to thank you. I just want to thank you. So one more time, share with the fans how to get, how to follow the media to stay in tune with this book.
All right, I have a special brand new Twitter opened up. It's Diana Hart Author. And that's also on Facebook, Diana Hart Author. And I am at Diana Hart Author. Maybe you can.
And Diana Hart Smith is the personal Twitter.
Yes, that's right. And Headline Books is the company out of West Virginia that's publishing me.
So Headline Books is the publisher.
Yeah, headlinebooks.com.
Diana Hart Smith, romance, wrestling, pouring the heart out, and life, wrestling fans.
Yeah, yeah. The first book is called Wrestling with Life.
Wow.
Cauliflower Heart, Wrestling with Life.
Maybe I'm a little bit more intuitive than I give
are.
myself credit for.
Well, you are. I know my mom and dad would have very much enjoyed having you up at the Sunday dinners.
Oh, I'm flattered.
I bet you would have become a commentator for Stampede Wrestling.
Oh, I would have loved it.
Yeah.
I would have loved it. My passion and my heart's in the industry, in the business.
I know.
And I'm not going to stop.
No, don't. You're too good for wrestling and you're in good hands with Bill Apter.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's very well respected and very well knowledgeable.
Yeah, he's taught me well, and he's sanded my rough edges because I needed a lot of work in the beginning. So I appreciate everything Bill Apter's done for me and 1WRESTLING.com.
Yeah. I asked Bill if there's such a word as well knowledged. He's well
versed.
Well versed, yes. Oh no, maybe we can invent it and add the word well knowledged.
Knowledged. Andre Corbeil, Diana Hart Smith here, signing off from Stu Hart's 100th birthday, the centennial of the man, the icon. Point at the camera, Diana.
Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday, Stu.
Andre Corbeil here on 1WRESTLING.com.
I've watched your show, your guys' show.
It's Davey Boy Smith Jr. You're watching 1WRESTLING.com with Andre.
It's the Dog of War, Jesse Neal, and we're with Andre Corbeil, and you're watching 1WRESTLING.com.
We're all in this for one thing. Wrestling. And we'll see you at the matches.